For nearly 5 months now, we continue to see governors announce new policies on how restaurants can operate during the coronavirus pandemic. I caught up with Chef Andrew Gruel, who is the founder and CEO of Slapfish Restaurant Group, to get his perspective on what it's like to adapt to the changes. Take a look. You're not only a chef, but the founder and CEO of Slapfish Restaurant Group, which has multiple locations across the U.S., some of which are in California. How have Governor Newsom's lockdown orders affected your business?
Well, I mean, the lockdown orders obviously have had a detrimental effect to the entire restaurant industry and kind of the consumer mindset when it comes to the purchasing behaviors of going out to a restaurant. So it's been really difficult for us because we've been trying to kind of navigate through this gauntlet. Some of our restaurants have really slowed down, but then we've also wrapped our arms around the takeout and delivery and kind of manipulating the menus to make it more family style. So we've been able to also take advantage of the fact that a lot of people are now dining in and doing takeout. So in some circumstances, we've actually seen sales increase. So it's really across the board.
How has it been with chefs and employees within your restaurant dealing with some of Newsom's policies? You mentioned that indoor dining. He's now restricted that to just outdoor dining. How has that been for you?
Well, I think overall, what most chefs, restaurateurs, and the restaurant industry as a whole is experiencing is that the kind of the seesaw effect is really difficult because we spend a lot of time and money in trying to kind of COVID-proof our restaurants, only for a couple weeks later to shut down the dining rooms. And I think we all are really kind of reaching out and saying to local governments specifically, as well as, state governments, is help us out, right? Instead of just giving us these mandates and these dictates, we really need help trying to figure out how to navigate through this. So it's much easier for us to be able to have a kind of a local team supported by the government to help us navigate through a lot of these regulations, as opposed to just being given, rules. Okay, you're going to shut down, you can open. It's difficult to navigate.
You've also spoken out against allowing the governors to define what food can classify as a restaurant versus a bar. Tell us more about what it's like to hear those rules from a chef's perspective.
Well, the rules are, look, they're silly because originally the reason those rules were developed was so that people didn't drink too much, consume too much on an empty stomach, and then go out and drive or go out and act and behave in kind of a drunken manner. So when we start to talk about what menu items will justify having a bar open, and we're looking at 2,000 calories of boneless chicken wings and saying, no, that's not sustenance. I mean, for me, it's almost humorous to see the governors put on a chef's hat and determine what is food and what isn't food. So at the end of the day, I think it's about, okay, why are we barring people from going into bars? Is it the close proximity? If that's the case, then let's put them outside and let's create some sort of an easement on the regulation so that people can dine and drink outdoors in a, quote, bar setting without having restrictions to the menu.
And you recently unveiled two concepts in a massive food hall with outdoor dining and a park to play in. How long did it take for you to achieve that, and what's the reaction been like?
Well, we have two concepts in a food hall in Tustin, and it's a beautiful food hall right, about 5 miles from John Wayne Airport. And there's a huge, massive park outdoors. And this was launched last year, and it started to just get up to speed because there were local commercial tenants that were coming in right as COVID hit. So right as COVID hit, the food hall was coming together, and then it was really just a screeching halt on everything. So we've been trying to kind of work through this and try and understand and figure out how we can start to operate within, once again, the world that we're living in right now. A lot of days it's just me and the family and they're cooking.
Again, Chef Andrew Gruel providing us an interesting perspective as the CEO and founder of Slapfish Restaurant Group and a chef himself. Thank you so much again for your time.
Thank you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.